so the binding on the body failed miserably. There was a couple of things that you saw in the last video, I suppose. The glue didn't stick very well. I didn't use quite the right glue, and I didn't get a good clamp. I didn't get it clamped in well. There were a few gaps, and it peeled right the hell off. So I don't think the binding is ruined. It's got some glue residue on it that I think I can scrape off. So this is going to be a very tedious point of cleaning this stuff up. Yes, I could probably go after it with acetone, but it will also melt this. So I'm just going to carefully try to find a way to hang on to this thing and try to get a scraper on it, smooth and squareness, and use the scraper to get this glue crap off, because I could leave it and the glue might dissolve, but I don't want to take the chance of it holding the binding out of the rabbet that I want it to set in. So I'm going to take an inordinate amount of boring time, and I'm going to clean these up. I will not make you suffer through this, but I just figured I'd explain it so you knew what I was going to do next and how I'm going to recover from the other day's failures. So, all right, good morning. I've started shaping the neck, and I decided at some point I was going to want to do a set of templates or radius profiles for the back of the neck, because I don't know, I'm going to do it the way it feels, but I want to see how it looks compared to what the traditional profile is. So I've just got a little 1/4 inch bit of I guess it's kind of MDF stuff in the CNC marked out, and I drew it. I'll pull it, I'll cut it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So we'll just start cutting some holes to hold the thing down here real quick. And those are the holes. Now I can put a couple of screws in here and hold the piece down so the offcut doesn't go anywhere. There, that'll hold it. That was quick. And there's our little pocket cutout dealy here. Pull it up. Little radiuses. Radiuses. Ooh, that washer got pretty close though. So, drop these back in their respective little containers here. And there we are. So now we've got one radius for the 1st fret, the other radius for the 12th fret, and we can sort of check to see just how well they fit and match up. So we'll take this over to what I've already done, and we'll see how it turned out. There we go. Okay, so I did a little cleanup. I forgot to hit record. I do that once in a while. I gotta stop it. So I took the tape off the end of the fretboard, and I finished the binding. So now it's a fully bound fretboard. It came out nice. Came out nice and even looking. I can deal with that. I consider the fretboard pretty much ready for fretting. I haven't decided when I'm going to put the frets in versus put the fretboard on this neck or the neck in the body. Know when I'm supposed to do that. So I'm kind of winging it. What I'm thinking though is I do know that this tenon on this neck needs to be trimmed inside the pickup pocket. And that's going to have to get lifted just a bit higher. We're going to come off from this side here. I think I'm going to put it in here and get it seated nicely. There we go. It's seated well. Yeah, and that holds. Well, it also breaks lights, but it holds. So I'm going to have it in, and I think I'll mark now where I need to trim it. Because I think it is a step required before I can put the fretboard on and put the glue on the neck. So what I'm going to do then is, I've just got this little, you see the mark, make a little step inside the picker pocket, and I think I'm safe to do that right now. Take the truss rod out. I'm going to put this in the vise and just, I think I'll just go at it by hand. I'll set it like this first. And then I'm going to come close, but I won't be final until it's in. I need a saw. I require a sawing device. How about one of these? Yes. And then I will also take a square. And we'll double check our mark across there, make sure I make a line. And I'm definitely wanting to stay away from my line here. Make sure we are square. Okay, so that is roughly where I want it to go. And I think what I'll do is come up about 1/8 off the bottom of that, and we'll just set up for crosscut mode, and I'm going to stay kind of near but not on the line here. I can't see where I am on that side yet, but there, that's probably far enough. And then we'll stand it up a bit. And do the same ripwise here. I'm going to stay away from that line because I know my pencil went in a little ways. And this, the rip side does not start very easily. That's because I'm also, here, let's try it like this, down the plane of the teeth here. There we go. Now we got a starter. Yeah, let's not F it up though, shall we? Let's try that. Let's try not effing it up. There we go. Be able to hear when I cut it free here. A little past on this side, a little past on that side, so we're gonna go to the crosscut side again and just find our intersection here. There we go. All right, well that rip wasn't pretty, but it's all right, it'll do. I'll be able to clean it up once it's in the guitar. So now we've got our little step. Push this down into the socket here. Yeah, that's still above, so I can clean that up. I can take a chisel and clear that out. And there we go. There we go. That's pretty good. Those sides look really good. The seams there, the joinery there. Yeah, I can say that looks great. I think that looks fine. Alright, so there's my neck with the small little, in fact, you know what we'll do? We'll go and grab a, actually I'm going to wait till that's dried. I'm going to put that in as is and glue, and then I'll worry about this little area after the glue has dried. So that's done. I think I've done everything I can do to get those two things ready to go together. Oh, I did cut a template, so the back of the neck radius, this area here, and I think I still have lines. Not anymore. I had lines where the 1st and 12th frets are, but they have since been rasped away. And I think I'd like to go about 3/16 from the break on this, and that's where the nut will go. And then centered, I can say, where's my pencil here? 1st fret is there. 12th is there. Okay. And I'm just going to mark a line now so I keep track of where those are, because those are my measuring points, right? So I've got this. This is designed for the small radius is the 1st fret, which would be here. And my neck is way too wide at the moment for it, which is good. That means I've got more room to remove material. And then at the 12th, same story. It's just a bit wide yet. So this is where I'm kind of going, do I want to put the fretboard on now? And have it in place, then I can make, because I'm going to need to make a couple of small shims, some small shims here to take up for the break angle on the back of the body, or behind the fretboard. There'd be a gap if there wasn't mahogany there. So I'm not sure yet. I need to decide how I'm going to deal with this. Should I put the fretboard on now? I'm rough shaped here. I've got a ways to go yet, but basically the reason I've left the neck off, or left the fretboard off up to this point is that I'm beating on this thing a little bit, and I didn't want to ding up my really nice fretboard. But I may be past that point now. I may be to the point where I need these things together so that the center lines are right and that I get the ends to the right width here. So that's where I am, deciding that. Not sure yet. Still quite a bit of not sure on that yet. I also need some thicknessing going on here. There's a little bit left to be done. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing, I think I'll get the neck as absolutely far as I possibly can to the very last second before I put the fretboard on, because I don't want to have it on there and damage anything. So if I put this on close and grab a hold of it, I can say go to this point and this will tell me how safe I can remove some stock. Also, you know what I might as well do is I check it against this. Are these things the right size? Yes, they are. Oh, that is perfect. That's cool. So at the first I should do. So right here. Yeah, that's pretty close to damn near perfect. I like it. My binding's a little thicker than the plans call for, which is fine. So I should expect the same at the 12th. Yep, almost the same amount even. Cool. Okay, so we know we're in the ballpark for the fretboard. So I need to make up my mind is what I need to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to get the headstock flat and parallel. There's still quite a lump right in here that I want to get sorted. I think if I set it here, I can run a plane across right there, and then I can rasp into that solution. I think I'll do that. Okay, now I need a clamping pad. And I need that good old mallet that's back over there. And I'm going to grab a plane, Dave's plane, the famous Dave's plane. Not famous, I don't know how famous that means, but it's getting some notoriety for me at least. Deserved notoriety. It's an awesome plane. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I think we're gonna bump up against that. So what I'm gonna do instead, yes, I will pop that out. I will put a small dog here. I'm gonna round side out here. Now I have a pivot point and a stop against that pivot point. That should hold up nice. And this is just rough because I'm just bringing the stock down because there's a pretty good sized lump right there. Still got a little ways to go there. And I just messed with myself by going the other direction, but that's all right. Just getting this near flat. We might be in the files and rasps area at this point now. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh no. Oh no, look what happened there. I squeezed too tight. I've got some, oh shit. Look at that. Splintered. I gotta fix that. Frick. That's not good. I grabbed a hold of it wrong, I guess. I don't know. Alright, well, I've got all the pieces. We're just gonna grab some glue and some tape, I guess. Damn it. It's okay. Gotta fix that. Definitely gotta fix that. Part of it is because I'm getting impatient, so I'm acknowledging that. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop doing it. I need to ease back, get some patience. This is what happens when you're far into a fairly big project. When you get in there and you start getting a little punch drunk with it and start getting rushed. Okay, I'm gonna have to let that dry, but I think it'll be okay. We'll find out in a few hours when that's dry. All I'm going to grab my round-bottomed file and start shaping some of this a little bit. Try not to tear out too much. You bored yet? Okay, so I'm ready to put, I think, we're going to find out if I'm ready or not. I'm ready to put in the truss rod, I think. We'll hope so. So I was looking on the instructions at StewMac and all these places, and one of the bits of advice that was given out was to put silicone or caulking on the brass blocks and maybe a little in between to keep them, to keep the vibration to a minimum. And I think I'm going to do that as soon as I... What they don't tell you is how much. How much does it take? Okay, so here's my truss rod, and I'm going to slide it in again just for fits and giggles. Yeah, we can use this. Yeah, that'll do. So right now it's in neutral basically. And then we go the other direction and it'll... Okay, I'm just curious how they actually functioned. I had never actually tried. So they don't tell you how much, but I don't think it needs a lot. What I'm thinking I will do is stick a little down inside of this cavity towards the back, or towards the head, towards the body a bit, and then mush it down into there, then a little down here, and then slide it down into it, and then wipe off whatever excess there may be. Although I don't think we're quite deep enough there. I'm going to do a little quick check on the depth there. I don't think that's quite deep enough right in that one spot at least. Okay, so now since it doesn't tell me how much to put in there, I'm just going to guess and just put a tiny little glop down in here. Just a tiny little glop, and hopefully enough of a glop. Try to get that off the sides there. Okay, now we stick the whole thing down in that. Okay. Put a little bit down in there. That's actually a lot more than it probably needed. I'm going to make sure we don't clog up the endies here. And just shove it straight down into it. And straight down into that. I think I want a little bit more. Doesn't seem like it's doing the job I need it to do yet. I'm going to put just a tiny bit, they said right in between them. It said a little bit in the middle. This may or may not do any good, but that's in. Yeah, that's starting to stiffen. Okay. All right, so that's in. I'm going to grab it by the tenon here. Grab that bugger by the tenon. And wipe clean. There. Squish it down, squish it down. All right. I think now with that on there, don't want to grab it by the tenon, I guess. We are ready to put the fretboard on as well. Just want to make sure it's all pressed down nicely so it's out of the way. That should be good. That's low enough. I think that's low enough. Yeah, it should be low enough. And then they say take a piece of tape and stick tape down the center so that, because we don't want to glue the truss rod. They don't want any glue on it. So I'm gonna use a trick I learned from Crimson Guitars just the other day. He leaves his tape on in the slot, just on it when he puts the fretboard on. So he takes in just enough tape to cover the slot, and he comes back with a knife, which I am missing right now. Where's my knife? There's a knife here somewhere. There it is. And then comes along the opposite side. Let's see if I'm good enough to do this. We'll find out real fast. About 1 millimeter away. Nope, I fell right into the slot. Hold on. I'm going to start over here. I am not as good as Ben Crow. No shock. Ben, your steady hand wins. Alright, I am going to cheat. I have straight edges. There it is. And I'm going to place it where I would like to have it fall in. Well, I'll just go to this side. This is fine. This way I can see what I'm cutting after. Right there. Just like that. Okay. That should end up with a well sliced, no, not very well sliced. It didn't push down very hard on it. Let's see, where's my knife? I'm just not steady enough in the hand to make such a cut reliably. It just didn't push down very hard either. There. There. So now I have the truss rod completely covered with tape. Don't know how I feel too much about leaving the tape there. I know Ben does it, and he's obviously a successful guitar builder. It kind of bugs me to leave it there. I think I'm going to have to take it off. Okay. So we'll get fretboard ready to go in place, and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to glue that. I have changed my mind. Ben has built many, 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 many more guitars than I, and he knows what he's doing. I have built one. I can't count this one yet. I have built 1.5 guitars. And therefore, I don't think I'm capable of the advanced technique of selective tape gluing type stuff. So what I'm going to do is what the StewMac instructions said to do, is just cover it with a strip of tape, of normal masking tape, and then spread the glue here and pull the tape off. Boy, this would be a... Hold on a second. We need to think a second, because I'm a chicken crapper. Chicken poop, chicken shit. Yeah, that'll work. Now I'm all right. I think I feel better about leaving it in there now. I think it'll be okay. I feel like leaving it in, though, is a gap-causing painful thing. Something that's just going to cause gaps. If I were going to vacuum press it in there, I wouldn't have a problem, but I'm not going to vacuum press it. So I think I will still do what StewMac advises. I'll lay down a thin coat, peel off the tape. Okay. We are in the point now where I'm about to put this thing on here. So I need to make sure I keep my centers aligned. That's my line right there, right? In fact, we're going to do a real quick reconfigure of my centers. Let's see here. Where's my pencil? There's my pencil. There's my line right there. I have it still. That'll work. Okay, and then we'll put it on there. That's my center there. And that's my center there. Okay. Okay, now we need to find U center. Yeah, we could do it that way. So let's, we are at the right width. Let's find, here we go. So now I've got a center mark there, and now I can align this thing a lot better than I had been. The only other thing left is where does my nut end? How big a nut am I going to use? It's going to be 3/16 or so, so let's just do that. Do I want a 3/16? Do I really want that wide of a nut? Let's do an 1/8. Anything that needs to be wider than an 1/8 will get the slot deepened or whatever. Yeah, an 1/8 is fine. Good. There's room on either side. That's a good sign. I like that there is. Okay. Yeah, so that's where it's going. We're going to need several clamps. I'm going to use as many as I dare have. Grab a bunch of them. And I think I can get one in on the end right there. That's good. And I can clamp to this. I can clamp to that. I can clamp to that. I can get clamps all along this, so I will probably do so. I will probably grab some C-clamps and get it really good contact all the way around. Okay, so that's ready. Am I ready? I think we are. I don't think there's much else left to do but the hemming and the hawing. I'm going to use the bigger goop. I'm going to get a brush. And this is it. This is a big step. I'm kind of chickening out now. I was going to get the glue bottle. The big glue bottle. And yeah, we are going for it. Live on this edge, shall we, boys and girls? There's some glue for you. Okay, that's it. There's glue on the fret, or on the neck. That's a lot of glue. I should have eased that back a bit. Yeah, that's a lot of extra glue. Yeah, that's too much glue. Yeah, I'm gonna dial this back a little, I think, or spread it back a bit. And we're gonna pick some of this up and take it, stick it into the garbage can, because that is way too much glue. Got a little too thick here. We'll fill in our other spots here real quick. Get all the coverage first, then I'll come back and economize. Okay, I'm going to take this rag, I'm going to squeeze off a lot, and I'm going to do the same. One more shot. Do the same to this side. There is still a lot of glue available here. And I'm going to go grab some acetone here in just a second and peel some off the, or not acetone, sorry, some denatured alcohol, and peel off some of the oil from the rosewood just to make sure that it has a good shot at bonding well. There we go. That looks like a more logical amount of glue. Okay. All right, and I don't have any brush bits in there. Go this way, go grab some alcohol, which is right over here. Right over here. And another towel. I see a bunch of squeeze out right there. There, toss that. Echo. That was too rapid. Okay. There we are. Okay, it needs more glue anyway. I did get a little overzealous. Alright, let's get that off of there. We'll take our brush, which is now in the glue, or in the garbage. and just delicately apply a little bit here. All right, try that again. Here we go. Yeah, I didn't get any on that side, so. Right there. Okay. All right, that's whether I like it or not, my fretboard is glued on. It's on. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, don't know, but it's on. Holy boat.